I'm a bad bitch, yeah. You know I'm that bitch, can't get off of this dick, yeah. I am that bitch, nah. You know I'm that bitch, yeah. I am that bitch, yeah. You know I'm that bitch, I am that bitch.
Hello everybody, welcome back to That Bitch Podcast. I hope you guys all had a fantastic past 2 weeks, I guess. I did not bring out an episode last week as I was in Mexico. And that's basically what this entire episode is going to be about. A recap about my trip, what I did, who I met, and all the fun stuff. Yeah, I'm also back at work now, which fucking sucks. And today I was very agitated. I'm recording this literally on Wednesday. It might get out tonight or tomorrow. A lot of the streaming platforms take forever to get the data uploaded, so it'll most likely probably be tomorrow anyways, on Thursday. But whatever. It's also Wine Wednesday and then Thirsty Thursday. So fuck it. Cheers, everybody. Whoops, I just knocked my glass to my speaker. I am drinking Riscato Rosé something. Italia. It's actually very good. Now, this wine glass, as you can probably see, can actually fit an entire bottle of wine. But we're not going to put this all in here. I just need a little refresher on top of that. But yeah, so my trip to Mexico. How should I start this? I mean, I'll just go out and say it right now. I did fucking Mexico twice, back to back. Oh, and here's my cat. As usual, he joins the podcast. But we're not going to jump onto that just yet. So, my flight started in Regina because I couldn't get a direct flight the day I went. So, I went from Regina to Toronto. Layover was like 3 hours-ish. And then, oh my god, my cat is playing with paintbrushes right now by the fireplace. My cat's a freaking dum-dum. Anywho, so when I got to Toronto, it actually went really fast. I think I had something to eat and a drink, chilled for a bit, then got on the plane, and then made it to Mexico. That airport sucks. It is, I mean, it's big, it's small, but like it's very crowded. And it took about 2 hours to get my luggage. Hold on, I have to stop my cat from playing with paintbrushes. Uno momento. All right, I'm back. So, took about 2 hours to get my luggage. I literally waited at the carousel or whatever, the conveyor belt, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, for like 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, okay? But then I was still at the airport for another hour. I had to go all the way outside. And if you've been to the airport in Cancun, all the terminals and stuff, or all the buses from when you get dropped off, well, when you want to get picked up, when you get picked up, there's like a bunch of areas. There's a shit ton of buses, a bunch of vans, cars, everything. So I'm trying to find WestJet best day experiences. BDE, big dick energy, but not really. So then I finally found it. And then this is kind of where everything begins. So I'm in line waiting to talk to like the rep or whatever. And I tell them that I'm at the Grand Riviera Princess. And the couple behind me overhears and we're trying to get in the same shuttle as me because they're also going to the same resort. And my cat is playing with the fucking paintbrushes again. Oakley, get down. Jesus Christ. So the couple behind me was also trying to go on the same shuttle as me. I didn't find out till like after when we were all still waiting to try and get onto a freaking van or whatever. And then we all started talking, having conversation. They got a phone call that their basement flooded, which is super shitty, especially when you just got to Mexico. Luckily, they got people to help fix all the situation. Anyways, and then there was another older couple. We were all talking literally about like Americans and GUNSs. I'm not gonna say the word because I might get, if I can get monetized, I might get demonetized on YouTube because of the word. Blah blah blah. Anyways. Pew, 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 if you know what I mean. Yeah, so then finally, we all get on the shuttle. And it's kind of funny. It's like I met this couple. I call them the OG couple. Their actual names are Haley and Francis. They're from Ontario. That's about all I'm going to say as work. So there's about, I met like one new either couple or person or family a night while I was there. And I was there for 8 nights. So, I call Haley and Francis the OG couple because it's the original couple I met literally the first night I got into Mexico. So I basically spent most of the trip with them. Well, their entire trip, I would go and hang out with them on the beach. Anyways, back to where I was at. So then the shuttle takes us to a 7-Eleven because he's like, oh, well, it's going to take about an hour or 45 minutes to get to the hotel, so better get some snacks. I didn't get anything. I just went to the bathroom at the Starbucks. That was like outside. And yeah, back onto the shuttle. So we're all chilling on there, chit-chatting and everything. And then we finally get to the resort. Go to check in. All is good. So they're going to the platinum side. It's kind of like more exclusive, I guess you could say. But like not overly, because it didn't seem like they got much more than anybody else. They had a private pool that was actually pretty small. I mean, they were able to get room service and stuff because there was another couple that got room service for free. It was included in their amount. But then I got room service the one night, and of course, it's not freaking included. You think it would be because it's an all-inclusive resort, but apparently not. So that kind of pissed me off. So it cost me 15 pesos for that room service the one night. But anyways, back to the first night. So I was starving by the time I got everything unpacked in my room and everything and changed. So I'm going all over the resort. This resort is very big and very confusing when you're brand new to the resort. But really, it's kind of like an oval and like a little thing, like a square at the end. Because there's two lobbies, because there's Grand Riviera Princess and Grand Sunset Princess. Literally the same thing, they're just on two different sides. I didn't see the point of that, but I ended up getting put on the Sunset side when I booked for the Riviera side. But she's like, do you want a queen bed, or do you want a king bed? And I was like, fuck yeah, I do. So then she gave me a king bed. My room had a jacuzzi. I used that sucker like 4 or 5 times. It was great because there in the pool, there was no hot tubs anywhere, which kind of sucked. And it was funny because the pool at this place was like cold in the main pool, but everywhere else was like 5 more degrees warmer. If all the pools were 10 degrees warmer, it would be much better. But it is what it is. Hold on. Time to take a sip. So, I'm going around trying to find food. I'm searching. And then I find out the sports bar has food 24 hours and drinking and all that stuff. Then while I'm going back to the sports bar, I run into Francis and Haley, the OG couple. And they're like, we were just coming back to find you, because I ran into them originally telling them I was going to go get some food. And then they had just finished eating at the buffet, I think, or one of the a la cartes. I can't remember. Then they ran into me again. They're like, oh my god, I was just going to try and find you and tell you the sports bar. So yeah, I ended up going there. Got a drink with them there. I got like panini or something. Got to talking, talked about like our jobs and stuff and back home and all that good stuff. I won't go into too much detail as that is more personal information. All you gotta know is their name is Haley and Francis, and they're the OG couple because I will refer to them as the OG couple most of the time, as I did when I was texting my parents and my family, which is kind of funny. So, second day comes around. I didn't have their like Facebook or texting, like phone number or anything, so I kind of had to like run into them basically. So, second day comes around, I'm in the pool, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get a drink, and then there's like this little, you know, in like Greece, there's like those pillars and stuff in different places, like the ancient Greek stuff. They had those kind of things in like a little, it was like a horseshoe shape, and there's a bunch of jets, but it wasn't warmer, it was just literally jets. So I went and sat in there, and there was a lady beside me to my left. All of a sudden, she strikes up a conversation with me. So we get to talking, she tells me she's there with her husband and her 2 sons. So I'm like, okay, cool, we're talk. Then all of a sudden, the husband swims up, and then the 2 sons swim up. So then, this was the family that I met. They are from PA. That's about all I'm going to say. So, I'm not going to say their names because I didn't talk to them about the podcast and saying names. I got consent from Haley and Francis, okay? So, continuing on. I met them at the pool. So then, I gotta like write this down because I gotta make sure I'm getting every day, because every day something happened basically every day. So, night 1, I met OG couple at the airport. Day 2, I guess night 2, we'll go night 2. I met the family from PA in the pool. Then we go to the sports bar. And I hang out with them. And then I see Haley and Francis, the OG couple. And I was like, come on over here. And then they ended up wandering all over, and we chilled and we all chatted and had some drinks. I felt like the vibe was a little awkward, probably because the wife from the family that I had met, I feel like, because you know those people who drink a lot and then all of a sudden they talk way too much, or they like repeat the same story over and over again. That's what she was like. Not a bad thing, but that's just kind of like the vibe. So maybe the OG couple didn't like, I don't know if they picked up on that or it was just weird. I don't know. But it's probably just because I met them first and we bonded at that point. And yeah. So anyways, night 2, go to the sports bar, have a good time, yada yada. So it's Monday. That's night number 3, day 3, whatever. That day I had hung out with the family from the day before because I was looking for Haley and Francis on the beach. That's when I couldn't find them. I walked like a kilometer. It's probably about a half an hour up and down the beach, but it's probably a good thing I did it that day because after that it was freaking gross. There was so much seaweed on the beach. It was very windy, so all the waves obviously kicked up all the seaweed. So then later that night I had went to the a la carte, and it was a steakhouse one. It was funny because that's when all of a sudden the OG couple walks in. I'm like, oh my god, hey. So then we tried to get a table together. I don't know why it was so hard for us to get a table together when the restaurant wasn't even half full. So later on we were able to finally do that. I only had like my first appetizer, and then did I have a soup? I don't even remember. No, I had salad, and then yeah, it wasn't that great. So then we were able to get the same table. We talked, yada yada. I told them how I had tried finding them that entire day, and I couldn't. So then Haley gave me her number, so we were able to meet up the next day. So, because during the day then, that's when I had hung out with the family from PA. I had met them in the pool. Yeah. So, then it's night number 4. It's Tuesday. I had Thai on that day, the next day, I think. Something like that. Or a buffet. Don't even remember. Anyways, I had hung out with the OG couple at the beach for a bit, and then I had went to hang out with the PA family because they were leaving on Wednesday. So I kind of chilled with them for a bit, and then like we're by the pool or whatever. And then I had been wanting to talk to like meet more friends and stuff that day. Because the family had to go and like get ready and like pack their stuff for the next day. So I go over to the pool and I'm sitting in these chairs. Now I have this tactic that I think is pretty damn good. If I want to talk to someone or want them to talk to me, I'll kind of like sit near them and kind of like look around, whatever. Put my towel down, just chilling. And I'm like, this guy was like sitting on the edge of the pool and he's drinking his drink or whatever. He looks at me, I look at him, look away, looks at me again. So we start talking. But it's funny because on Tuesday, some chick came up to me and was like, you have to meet so-and-so. He's single, you're single, he's this old. And I'm like, oh, I'm 27. And he's like, oh, is his age problem with you? And I was like, no. So he's younger than me by like 3-4 years. Yeah. And I was like, no, that's fine. So then she like fucked off randomly. I don't know. It was so random. So then I had met up later with the family from PA at night because that was going to be their last night there. They're leaving on Wednesday morning. So PA family leaves Wednesday morning. So that night on Tuesday, I went to the sports bar with them. I originally was with Haley and Francis watching one of the shows. And then I was like, okay, I'll be right back. I need to go spend some time with the family that I met from PA before they got to go home because they're going tomorrow. So I hung out with the family from PA at the sports bar. We had a few drinks, sat or chat, had a goodbyes, all that kind of stuff. Then I went back and hung out with the OG couple. Then later on that night, I went to bed. So Wednesday I hung out with Haley and Francis for a bit at the beach, and then because that morning the family from PA was leaving, so I didn't really see them, so then hung out with the OG couple at the beach. So I definitely got some good suntan that day, and I got some fake Ray-Bans on the beach, and then these 2 little dolls from my niece and nephew that are handmade. So I ended up finding them on the beach this time. That's when I realized I walked way too far. Then I went to the pool, and that's when I kind of sat by these people in the water. And Okay, I'm fucking up my timeline. Anyways, the one day I was by the pool, and then I was like, okay, my tactic is when I sit beside people, and then they kind of like look at me, I look at them, and start a conversation. So that's what happened. So now it's funny because I was supposed to meet this guy that randomly walked up and was talking to me, the other guy that was in the water. I was sitting on like one of the chairs, the dude was in the water, the other guy comes walking up and starts talking to me. So then we hit it off. Everything's good. I ended up meeting up with him and his friends later at night at the sports bar. All is well. So then, the friends and family, the guy that I met with at the pool, the one that I ended up hooking up with, we're going to call him the guy I hooked up with in Mexico, or the Mexico hookup, whatever. He might listen to this episode, so hi. Yeah, so then I ended up hanging out with him and his people at the sports bar for a bit. And there was like one of the guys that was one of the girls' boyfriends, and he's like real touchy-feely, being kind of like all up in your face. He's like the kind of guy that like touches your, if you're a guy, he'll touch your butt kind of thing, and get in your hold and put his arms around you, that kind of stuff, and act like he's gay when he's not gay. Now, I have a guy friend group that is like this, but they're good friends. They've known each other for years. When you're a random person, you don't go and walk up to another guy and touch their ass or hug them or put your arm around them or hold their hand or whatever. Like, you just don't, that's not normal. You don't do that. This guy's all like that. So then they all wanted to go to like the disco, which is like the club at the resort. Now, this club, it had good music, but the music was at like a level 100, and it needed to be at a level like 70 or 80. It was that loud, to the point that in your chest, you can feel the pounding of like the bass. The windows, you could even like feel it and just hear the vibration. Music is not enjoyable when the music is too fucking loud. So, me and this guy that I had met that day, I was like, okay, I don't really want to be in here. It's too loud, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like having a conversation with him. We were basically screaming at each other because we couldn't hear each other. So we left. Walked down to the beach, chit-chatted, and then walked back to my room. We hung out, chit-chatted. Then we get to fucking. It was a good time. Now, this guy may be younger, but he knows what he's doing, which is very good, because some people, you could even be older, and you could be really, really shit in bed, basically. Not shit the bed, but shitty in bed. Yeah. So, it was a good time. Too bad I didn't have lube, though, and I really need to take lube with me pretty much everywhere I go if I'm going on holidays or going to a guy's house, because TMI, but I mean, like, this is what the podcast is for, is all this TMI about my sex life, is that because I'm on antidepressants and all that kind of stuff, my body, I stay dry, if that makes sense. I do not get wet because my antidepressants, that's a side effect. Oh my god, the dog is barking upstairs, of course, in this moment. So that's a side effect of taking antidepressants. It's a common one. It sucks. But yeah, so sex was fun, but it was tricky at times because of that situation. I did not have lube with me, whatever. And then we had, like, chilled for a bit after we were done fucking. After an hour or two, I don't know what time it was, but I think it was 3 a.m. when he had left. But then he ended up going back to the sports bar because he went to his room. His sister wasn't in there, and the people that they came with, their, I guess, balcony light was on or something. And he was like, okay, well, where is everybody? So then they went back to the sports bar, and I guess this huge drama shit show started happening that night when the one guy was just about to get knocked out again, whatever. Now, drink time. Now, I found out the next day that the guy I met ended up going to, like, the bar after. But I had went, this is what pissed me off, okay? I was in a little bit of drama, but really it wasn't really my problem. So I'm looking for the guy that I met up with on Tuesday on Wednesday. Because obviously we fucked on Tuesday, so I'm like, okay, well, let's hang out the next day because you leave on Thursday. I'm not going to see you that day. So I end up seeing, so I went to the beach for a bit with the OG couple, hung out there, and then I was going to go find this other guy at the pool because that's usually where him and his friends hung out and everything. And I didn't see him there, but I saw his friends, so I just kind of like pulled up, sat at a chair, said hey, they said hey, and then I kind of sat there for a bit. I was in the pool, maybe said 5 words to all of them max, not even all of them, like 2 of them, and then stand there for like maybe an hour, and then I went back to the ocean to go find the OG couple. Then they had a massage, because I saw them, and I was like, oh shit. So then I went back to the pool and sat back down at the chair, and then I overheard them say that, where's so-and-so? I don't know, it could be packing, blah, blah, blah. And then his mom actually came and told me to come meet them at the sports bar that night, to hang out with them, basically. And so I did later on. But then I find out that this motherfucker, the one that was all up in my face, trying to push us 2 together, saying, oh, there's tension, blah, blah, blah. He tells the guy to stay away from me. I was so annoying, and like hanging out with their group and like basically being a stage 10 clinger to the group, basically, which made no sense. And the guy was like, you shouldn't have gave her your Instagram, blah, 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 going off. And because the guy that I met is a very nice guy, he told me this, as he fucking should. I was like, wow. So then I had to go, after I had met up with him at the sports bar, I had to go to my a la carte, and him and his family had to go to theirs at like 8 o'clock or whatever. So then I'm messaging my best friend on Snapchat and like sending her fucking voicemail. I'm like, I'm so fucking annoyed. I'm going to approach this motherfucker, because if you know me, you know I am very confrontational. Like, why are you talking shit, basically? And she was like, oh no, maybe you should just leave it, blah blah blah, I don't want to cause drama. I'm like, yeah, maybe. And then what do little old me do when I see the dude walking down the stairs with the little friend group? I was like, oh, first they see me, they're like, hey, how's it going? I was like, oh, I'm great, how are you? They're like, oh, I'm good. I was like, oh yeah? And then I was like, so I hear you talking shit. And then he's like, huh? I said, yeah, I hear you talking shit. He's like, what do you mean? I said, you're talking shit about me. He said, no, if I had something to say, I would say it to your face. I said, well, apparently not. He's like, well, what'd you? I said, I heard what you told so-and-so about me. Well, that was for so-and-so, not you. Turned around, walked away, and stomped. I'm like, okay, you little bitch. Like, he's 31 or 32, acting like a little shithead. Like, yeah, okay? If you're gonna talk shit, and someone's gonna confront you about it, and you're like, I didn't say anything. No, why would I do that? Oh my god. Like, no, you little bitch. Like, admit it, own up to it, and that's what it is. So, I had to fucking pee at this point. I'm finding a fucking bathroom. I'm fucking rage messaging my friend. My best friend. And I told her I confronted them and all this kind of shit. So then I'm looking for the guy that I hung out with him at the day before. Because I'm like, I gotta find this motherfucker before this other guy finds him. So I'm going around trying to find him. Turns out, the guy that I met was trying to find me as well. We literally were walking opposite directions. And then I saw from the balcony atop, I looked down and I'm like, oh fuck, he's talking to the guy. So then I go all the way downstairs. I'm like walking really fast. Get down there. So I'm like, okay, I'm sending a voice memo to my best friend. I'm like, I'm ready for this fucking death glare. And then I go. I approach. Me. And then I'm like, hi. And then he said to him some little remark or whatever, saying that he's a good guy, blah, 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 like the guy being an ass. And he was like, go have fun with the drama. And then me and the guy left. And I was like, the drama? He is the fucking drama. Like, what? And apparently, the guy that I had talked to, they had a confrontation before, him and the dude that's being an ass. And the guy was like, oh, well, I'm a good person. And the guy that I met was like, like, you know, when you like, if you're not watching visually, you know how you like put your hand up and you like kind of like, shake it a little bit, like mid kind of thing. Yeah, that's kind of what he did. So that was kind of that night then. And then me and the guy that I met, we ended up, I don't know if we walked to the beach again. I know we were walking around. So I was like, hey, come back to my room. So we came back to my room and we hung out for a bit. We banged. So I had a good old fucking same situation as last time. The whole I wish I had lubes situation. But like, otherwise it was a very good time. Yeah. I would do it again and again. Of course. Yes. But I need lube. Anyways. So then we have a chill time. Like we go in the jacuzzi or whatever. I put like the shampoo that I found at the place because I tried body wash the day before and it did not bubble in the jacuzzi. So then I was like, okay, well, let's try the shampoo. Shampoo worked. Yeah. So then we chilled in there, and I think we had a shower after sex because of course I'm like covered in like cum, obviously. Had a shower, and then I got the jacuzzi ready. Then we went in the jacuzzi, chilled there, and he had to go to this, be up for like 6 a.m. So it was already like 4 a.m. when we were like done hanging out and such. And then he had left. But the next day, I felt so fucking sad because literally everybody I had met is gone, basically. I couldn't see him in the morning because he already left way early. So I'm feeling kind of down. So then I ended up messaging him on Instagram because I was like kind of sad, to be honest. And then I ended up finding the OG couple because I tried to go find them at the pool where they were going to hang out till they had to go. But I managed to find them at the lobby because they didn't have to leave yet until like 1:45 or something like that, or 1:50. So I was happy that I got to hang out with them because I got to talk to both of them and kind of tell Haley how I was feeling because I had a good time. And I just kind of feel sad because everybody just left. Like, I literally cried that day because I felt so sad because, like, you know, when you bond with people and then all of a sudden they're like, poof, they're gone. That's how I felt. Like, you have a great time. It might have only been 5 days with the OG couple and 2 nights with a guy that I met, but it was like, you know how you can get to know somebody so fucking fast? Like, you can listen to this podcast, season 1, 4 episodes in or whatever, boom, you know me, like, real quick. Because it's like always TMI, right? But yeah, it was just kind of like sad. And also the guy that I had met, he was so different than any other guy that I'm used to because he was just so nice and like polite, I guess you could say too. He was trying to hold my goddamn shoes when I'm walking to the beach. I'm like, no, it's okay, I can hold my own shoes. Yeah, just like old-fashioned kind of little things like that, like opening the door for you, all that kind of stuff, even though I'm kind of like swinging the door open myself because I don't give a fuck, you know? It is what it is. So it's 2023. I'm gonna open the door for myself, but it's nice. And like, even if he'd be swearing, he's like, pardon my language, but da 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 da. I'm like, you know what? I fucking swear more than fucking anybody now. Like, I fucking got the mouth of a sailor or whatever the hell it's called. You know? It is what it is. So that's kind of why I was like sad because it was like, wow, this guy is younger than me and younger than the guy that was there being a little bitch. And he is more mature than that dude. Like, I guess, I mean, they always say girls mature faster than boys, which is true. But it's like, I guess it also depends how you're raised and just how you act when you're drinking too. Yeah, I don't know. It was just like, it was a really nice change. I think that's kind of why I was like, also kind of hooked because I probably could be why I don't have a lot of sex anymore. Because then it's like after I have sex, I'm like, oh, that was fun. And I'm like, now I want to do it again. And I want to do it again. I want to do it again. And then, of course, I want to be like constantly messaging that person because I'm like, I don't want to be clingy. But yeah, after it was like, damn, that was really good. And now I kind of like this dude. But like, why? It's been 2 fucking nights. It's just very frustrating, you know? Yeah, so everybody leaves on Thursday. And then I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go make new friends. So I go and have lunch. And I ended up going to the pool. So I was like, okay, I'm just chilling. Then I see these 2 guys in the pool in that like little horseshoe thing with the pillars. I'm like, okay, I do my little tactic again. I go and sit near them because there wasn't many people near them. So then I was like, okay, there's 2 of them. Let's go do this. So they go over there and sit down. And then all of a sudden, the one starts talking. I'm like, in my head, did it again. So I met these 2 guys. They were pilots. I think one was from BC and one's originally from Manitoba. Don't fully remember which location Manitoba, but yeah, BC, Manitoba. Hung out with them for the 2 days. Because it was Thursday. Everybody left. I met them. Met those guys. And then in the pool. And then spent like pretty much the whole night. They had an excursion on Friday. So on Friday, that was my day to myself. But I still had to meet one person that day. Because I'm like, each day I need to meet one new person. So after my day in the sun by myself, having a great old time, I went for supper at the buffet. And it was just myself. And there was like the booth on the one side. Then to my right of me, there's a guy sitting on the booth side. And nobody beside him or in front of him or whatever. If he was eating by himself, I was eating by myself. And then randomly, literally, when I'm basically done my whole meal, he started striking up a conversation. He was like, okay, so you see that group over there at the table? There's the 4 guys or 3 guys and then 1 girl. Or 1 woman. They're like in their 50s or 60s. He's like, what do you think's happening? I was like, okay, well, I think the one woman's with the one guy. I think the other two guys are just friends that are hanging out there. He's like, yeah, you're probably right. But I think he's with so-and-so, so-and-so. So we're like people watching, basically. He was people watching the whole time, I guess. His name was a very common, basic name that I got like 6 of them in the family, the same name. Yeah. Got to know him really fast. Within like 10 minutes span of time, I knew him very well. So I told him, I was like, I'm here by myself. And I said, every day I gotta meet somebody new. So I said, hi, I'm Serena. What's your name? I was like, and you're my new friend today. So then I had met him. Everything was good. But didn't end up meeting up with him later. Yeah, I was supposed to meet up with the guys from the day before. They had their excursion all day. So then I ended up walking down to the beach. And they ended up wanting to hang out too. So we sat there for like an hour until we went and got a drink. Yeah, everything was chill. I do have some videos of the water at the beach and everything. Yeah. So hang out there. The next day I had, because that was Friday. Myself was on the Friday. Okay, so Saturday was my last full day there. So I had gotten up. Went and got some lunch, and then ended up meeting up with one of the guys near the pool, because I think I had went to... Did I go to the beach? No, the one guy was at the beach. Then he ended up coming to find me. We had lunch. Then he ended up getting changed. Then I found the pool area location to hang out in town. And that was kind of all my Saturday. Hung out with the 2 dudes. The one guy ended up getting food poisoning, so that was not good, from on the excursion, not at the hotel. Luckily I had Pedialyte little packets, so I gave the dude one. I think it actually helped him. Sip of wine. Yeah, so I hung out with them pretty much all that night. Then I had Italian. I ate way too much Italian. My stomach hurt so fucking bad because I ate so much, but it was delicious. I'm not going to go too far into all the restaurants because I did video everything. So I'll probably just put out like one long vlog of my Mexico trip, because my videos are maybe like a minute to 30 seconds long for most of them. Yeah. So then it was later on Saturday night. The guys went to their rooms. Then I was kind of walking down to the beach because I was leaving on Sunday morning, but I finally got breakfast on Sunday morning because I didn't have it any other day. I would never wake up early enough. Like, the breakfast closes at 10:30. Yeah, I was waking up at like 11, 12 o'clock. Yeah. So Saturday night, I went to the beach by myself, sat by the ocean or whatever, listened to the ocean, and then I did do an audio recording about I did do an audio recording about how I was feeling that night. So I think I might input it into this video right after, but it'll be a non-visual. You'll just hear it. I might just put a picture or something. And then you can listen to what I had said. It's like deep thoughts late at night when I'm a little buzzed, feeling a little down, you know? So I get right in my feels, basically, and you can listen to that if you want. If you don't want to listen to it, you can just stop listening at that point. But yeah, and then Sunday I went home, and I had direct flight, thank God, but our freaking flight took forever to take off because in Mexico, at like the Cancun airport, there was 5 or 6 planes in front of us that still had to take off. Then there was like 10 planes behind us that still had to take off. So of course we're like a half an hour delayed when we get back home, but ended up making it home safe and sound. The only time that I kind of got a little sick, but not really, was when I had the Thai food the one night. It basically went in my mouth, up my ass. That's basically what it was. Thank God I had Pepto with me, otherwise I probably would have died the entire night. But yeah, that was basically my entire trip. I met a bunch of awesome people. I now have a group chat with the OG couple, which is kind of funny, but they're awesome. And I'll probably go out to Ontario at some point in the summertime. Yeah. So it was great. I would totally go back there again. So yeah, everybody was like, oh, that's so awesome. You went by yourself? I could never do that. I'm like, yeah, well, I went to LA by myself for a week and I had a great freaking time. Yeah. So I would do it again. One part that was a little lonely was when everybody left. That's when I kind of feel a little sad. And a little lonely Serena was upset that day until I met some new people. But yeah, that was pretty much it for my Mexico trip. I just had a great time. I would definitely go back. And now my sister, I guess, wants to do a family trip in Mexico this December. But I also have plans to go back to LA in August. So it's a little like, oh, busy. And a lot of money on travel. So let's see if I have money saved up to do 2 more trips this year. But yeah, so that's pretty much all for this episode. I do have some people that want to be guests on the podcast. When I was on the After Party podcast, that podcast came out and I guess everybody loved it and loved how open I was on there. So if you want to go listen to that episode, I recommend you do, because I was very open and candid about everything. The episode's like 2 hours long. I don't think they might have been doing a part 1, part 2. I can't remember. They just cut it down to 2 hours. We were talking for like 4 hours. It was a lot. But yeah, it was fun. So I'll have guests on the podcast again at some point, and I'm still going to continue the sex education like mini series that I was doing, because motherfuckers need to learn what to do in bed and what not to do, and just sex education in general. So yeah, hope you guys all enjoyed tonight's episode. So make sure you tune in a week and a half, because you never know what tea's about to be spilled next. Bye, bitches. Just kidding. Hold on. Continue listening to hear my late night thoughts on the last day at the resort. So, I think the saddest thing, really, about coming to a all-inclusive resort by yourself is honestly the point when everybody you met goes home and you're still here, you know? Like, I met some amazing people. Like the first even day and night that I got here, I met a couple off the same plane as me. We didn't even know we were on the same plane until after. And I spent like 4 days with them. And then I ended up meeting a family that was from the same province as me, and hung out with them for a couple days or a few days. And then met a different guy, and he had a friend group, but I didn't really hang with his friend group. Hung with him for a few days. Like, it's just crazy when you connect with these people and bond with them. And it's like, you never know if and when you're ever going to see them again. It's just kind of like sad. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think I'm going to insert this in my podcast. Even though it won't be visual, it'll just be audio. But you can also hear the ocean in the background. So I'm talking close to my phone mic or whatever. I don't know. I'm happy I'm going home because I get to see my fur babies again. And my mom, my niece and nephew. But I'm honestly a little sad. That's like I'm leaving the heat and the nice people and stuff. But I think I'm also happy to be going because the people that I mainly connected with are already gone. I did meet these 2 guys. They're pretty cool. But just the vibe is different. And I think there's a freaking bird on top of this lifeguard thing. It's definitely a bird. Anyways, squirrel. Yeah, I don't know. Just a little bummed, but happy at the same time. And like, it's right now, I'm recording this at 9:08 p.m., which is 8:08 p.m. back home in Regina. But yeah, luckily I have Monday and Tuesday off to recoup and then meal prep for the week. I don't know. I wanted to get away to feel refreshed and like I do and all, but I feel like my mind is just more confused about what I want to do. And like, I feel sad that the people I met that I enjoyed and bonded with are already gone. I don't know. Late night thoughts, but here's some more ocean recording sound. But yeah, that's that. So I guess this is the end of the voice recording from Mexico. Goodbye and good night, y'all. Peace.
Thanks for stopping by.